There is a habit that destroys more dreams than failure ever could, yet most people practice it every day without noticing. It is the habit of explaining themselves, explaining their decisions, explaining their ambitions, explaining their silence, explaining their boundaries, explaining why they changed, explaining why they left, explaining why they are different from who they used to be. At first glance, this seems harmless. In fact, modern society often encourages it. We are told that transparency is always virtuous, that everyone deserves an explanation, that every action should be justified before an audience. Yet the Stoics saw something different. They understood that the urge to constantly explain yourself often has little to do with communication and everything to do with approval. Think carefully about this. When someone questions your choices, why do you feel compelled to defend them? Why does criticism make you uncomfortable? Why do you immediately begin constructing arguments to prove that your path is reasonable? In many cases, it is because a hidden part of you still seeks permission from others. You want reassurance that your decisions are acceptable. You want confirmation that you are not making a mistake. You want people to agree with your direction before you fully commit to it yourself. This is where freedom begins to disappear. Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most powerful man on earth during his time, repeatedly reminded himself that the opinions of others were fleeting and insignificant. He ruled an empire, commanded armies, and carried responsibilities that would crush most people. Yet he constantly reflected on a simple truth. Other people's judgments are outside your control. Their approval is outside your control. Their understanding is outside your control. The Stoics built their entire philosophy around what they called the dichotomy of control. Some things belong to us and some things do not. Our choices belong to us. Our character belongs to us. Our actions belong to us. But the reactions, opinions, interpretations, and emotions of other people never belong to us. The moment you begin explaining yourself in an attempt to control how others perceive you, you have stepped outside your domain. You have abandoned your own territory and entered land you can never govern. This creates a dangerous cycle. You explain your decision. Someone disagrees. You explain further. They still misunderstand. You provide more details. They find new objections. Suddenly, you are trapped in a conversation that has nothing to do with truth and everything to do with validation. The Stoics would ask a simple question. Why are you fighting for ownership of something that was never yours? You cannot own another person's understanding. You cannot force someone to see what you see. You cannot compel respect through endless justification. The harder you try, the more powerless you become. One of the greatest signs of inner strength is the ability to allow misunderstanding to exist. This sounds uncomfortable because it is. Human beings naturally want to be seen accurately. We want others to recognize our intentions. We want fairness. We want acknowledgement. Yet maturity often means accepting that many people will misunderstand you no matter how clearly you speak. Some people will dislike you for changing. Others will dislike you for staying the same. Some will criticize your ambition. Others will criticize your lack of ambition. Some will call you selfish for protecting your peace. Others will call you weak for being too accommodating. The judgments never end. The Stoic does not waste his life chasing a moving target. He understands that public opinion is among the most unstable forces in existence. Today, they praise you. Tomorrow, they condemn you. Next week, they forget you entirely. What value is there in building your life around something so fragile? Consider the life of Epictetus. Born into slavery, he possessed no wealth, no status, and no social influence. Yet his teachings survived thousands of years while the names of many powerful rulers vanished into history. Why? Because he understood that dignity does not come from convincing others. It comes from governing yourself. A person who constantly explains himself is often negotiating with the crowd. A person who understands himself has no need to negotiate. This does not mean becoming arrogant. It does not mean refusing feedback or isolating yourself from wisdom. Stoicism is not stubbornness. It is clarity. When criticism contains truth, Stoic welcomes it. When criticism contains ignorance, he releases it. In both cases, endless explanation becomes unnecessary. Imagine a mountain standing through centuries of storms. Does the mountain explain itself to the wind? Does it justify its existence to the clouds? Does it defend its shape against the opinions of travelers? It simply remains what it is. The strongest individuals often possess this quality. Their confidence is not loud. It is not aggressive. It is not desperate. It is quiet. It comes from alignment between belief and action. People who know their path rarely spend much time defending it. Notice what happens whenever someone announces a major goal too early. They tell everyone about the business they plan to build. They describe the book they will write. They explain the transformation they are about to undergo. For a brief moment, they feel powerful. Then something strange happens. The energy begins to fade. Psychologists have long observed that public declarations can create an illusion of accomplishment. The brain receives social recognition before the work is completed. The reward arrives before the sacrifice. As a result, motivation often weakens. The Stoics understood this principle intuitively. They recognized the immense value of strategic silence. Not every vision requires an audience. Not every battle requires commentary. Not every step forward requires an announcement. There is power in allowing your actions to speak before your words. When you reveal every plan, you expose it to unnecessary forces. Doubt enters. Criticism enters. Envy enters. Distraction enters. Suddenly, your focus is divided between doing the work and managing everyone's reactions to the work. The wise person protects his energy. He understands that attention is limited. Every minute spent defending intentions is a minute not spent executing. Then, this is why some of the most effective individuals seem almost invisible while they are building something important. They disappear. They become quiet. They stop seeking validation. They withdraw their energy from public performance and redirect it toward private progress. The world often mistakes this silence for weakness. In reality, it is discipline. Most people cannot tolerate silence because silence forces them to confront uncertainty. They need constant reassurance that they are moving correctly. They need external confirmation that their efforts matter. They need witnesses. The Stoic seeks something deeper. He seeks self-respect. Self-respect grows when your actions align with your principles, even when nobody is watching. It grows when you keep promises to yourself. It grows when you continue despite doubt. It grows when you refuse to abandon your values for applause. This kind of strength cannot be borrowed from other people. It must be earned internally. There is another reason why constant explanation weakens the mind. It keeps you emotionally dependent on outcomes you cannot control. Suppose you make a difficult decision. Perhaps you leave a relationship. Perhaps you change careers. Perhaps you abandon a path that no longer serves you. The decision itself may be wise, but if your peace depends on everyone understanding why you made it, then your peace remains. Hostage to external forces, you have traded freedom for consensus, and consensus is one of the rarest things in human existence. People see reality through their own experiences, fears, desires, and limitations. What seems obvious to you may appear irrational to someone else. What feels necessary to you may feel threatening to another person. You cannot eliminate this reality. You can only accept it. Marcus Aurelius frequently reflected on the fact that every individual inhabits a different mental world. People interpret events according to their own judgments. Therefore, expecting universal understanding is not only unrealistic, it is irrational. The Stoic chooses a more practical path. He asks, himself one question: Is my action consistent with reason, virtue, and character? If the answer is yes, he proceeds. If the answer is no, he corrects himself. Notice what is missing from that equation. Public approval. Social applause, universal agreement. None of these factors determine whether an action is right. Yet millions of people organize their entire lives around obtaining them. This creates a profound vulnerability. Whenever your worth depends on external acceptance, you become easy to manipulate. Anyone who controls approval controls you. Anyone who can threaten rejection gains power over your choices. This is why so many people remain trapped in situations they have outgrown. They fear being misunderstood. They fear disappointing others. They fear criticism. So they explain and explain and explain. Years pass. Dreams remain untouched. Potential remains dormant. Freedom remains distant. The Stoics offered a different model. Instead of seeking acceptance, seek integrity. Instead of managing perceptions, manage character. Instead of explaining your life, live it. There is something deeply unsettling about a person who no longer needs permission, not because he becomes reckless, but because he becomes independent. His decisions originate from principles rather than popularity. His direction comes from conviction rather than consensus. Such people are difficult to influence because their center of gravity exists within themselves. This is the foundation of true resilience. When praise arrives, they remain steady. When criticism arrives, they remain steady. When misunderstanding arrives, they remain steady. Their identity does not rise and fall with public opinion. Most people spend years trying to construct this stability from the outside in. They seek recognition, status, admiration, and approval, hoping these things will eventually produce confidence. The Stoics reverse the process. Build confidence from the inside, and external validation becomes irrelevant. Build character first, and reputation becomes secondary. Build discipline first, and praise loses its intoxicating power. This does not happen overnight. It requires practice. Every time you resist the urge to defend yourself unnecessarily, you strengthen this muscle. Every time you allow someone to misunderstand you without chasing their approval, you strengthen this muscle. Every time you choose action over explanation, you strengthen this muscle. And eventually something remarkable happens. You discover that much of the conflict you once carried was never caused by other people. It was caused by your attachment to their opinions. The chains were never external, they were internal. Once those chains begin to break, a new kind of freedom emerges. You stop performing, you stop persuading, you stop seeking constant validation. You become quieter, more focused, more deliberate, and far more powerful than before, because the individual who no longer needs to explain himself has finally learned one of the deepest lessons Stoicism can offer. A well-lived life is the only explanation that truly matters. A well-lived life is the only explanation that truly matters. Yet this lesson becomes truly valuable only when life begins to test it. It is easy to remain silent when everyone supports you. It is easy to avoid explaining yourself when your choices are popular. The real challenge appears when silence costs you something, when people begin questioning your motives, when friends accuse you of changing, when family members fail to understand your direction, when those who once applauded your presence suddenly resent your absence. This is the point where most people break, not because they are weak, but because they underestimate how deeply the desire for approval is rooted in human nature. For thousands of years, survival depended on belonging to a tribe. Rejection could mean danger. Isolation could mean death. As a result, the human mind evolved to care intensely about social acceptance. Even today, a harsh comment can create anxiety far greater than the actual threat deserves. The Stoics recognized this reality. They did not pretend that criticism was painless. They did not claim that rejection felt pleasant. What they understood was that feeling discomfort and obeying Discomfort are two very different things. Courage is not the absence of emotional pressure. Courage is the refusal to surrender your principles because of emotional pressure. This distinction changes everything. Many people spend their lives trying to eliminate criticism. They alter their personalities to fit expectations. They hide their ambitions to avoid jealousy. They suppress their beliefs to avoid conflict. They become experts at adaptation and strangers to themselves. The tragedy is not that they are criticized. The tragedy is that they slowly disappear. A person can lose himself without ever leaving home. He can lose himself while receiving praise. He can lose himself while being accepted by everyone around him. Every compromise seems small in the moment. A little less honesty. A little less authenticity. A little less courage. A little more conformity. A little more explanation. A little more dependence on approval. Years later, he wakes up living a life that no longer belongs to him. This is why Stoicism places such enormous importance on self-examination. Marcus Aurelius constantly asked himself whether he was acting according to reason or merely reacting to external influences. He understood that the greatest threat to a person's freedom rarely comes from outside forces. More often, it comes from unconscious submission to them. The crowd does not need chains to control you. It only needs your desire to be liked. Once that desire becomes excessive, your behavior becomes predictable. You begin saying what others want to hear. You begin hiding what others might dislike. You begin measuring your value through external responses. The Stoic refuses this arrangement. He chooses a more difficult path. He accepts that every meaningful life creates friction. Think about every individual throughout history who changed something significant. Think about philosophers, inventors, reformers, artists, explorers, and leaders. Nearly all of them encountered misunderstanding. When Socrates challenged conventional thinking, many considered him dangerous. When new scientific discoveries contradicted accepted beliefs, their creators faced resistance. When great leaders pursued difficult reforms, they attracted criticism from every direction. This pattern repeats endlessly because human beings are naturally attached to familiarity. Anything different creates discomfort. Anything unfamiliar creates suspicion. If your goal is to avoid criticism completely, you will eventually avoid growth completely. The two cannot be separated. Growth changes you. Change unsettles people. Therefore, growth often attracts criticism. The Stoic understands this equation and accepts it willingly. He does not seek conflict, but neither does he fear it. He understands that discomfort is often evidence of movement. This brings us to one of the most powerful Stoic principles of all, amor fati, the love of fate. Many people have heard this phrase, but few understand its depth. Amor fati does not simply mean tolerating adversity. It means embracing adversity as a necessary ingredient of transformation. Most people view obstacles as interruptions. The Stoic views obstacles as training. Most people see criticism as a threat. The Stoic sees criticism as information. Most people see misunderstanding as a problem. The Stoic sees misunderstanding as an opportunity to strengthen independence. This shift in perspective changes the entire experience of life. Imagine two people receiving the same criticism. The first person becomes defensive. He spends days replaying conversations. He crafts arguments in his head. He imagines future confrontations. His energy becomes consumed by proving himself. The second person pauses and asks a simple question. Is this criticism true? If yes, he learns. If no, he moves on. The event lasts only moments. Notice the difference. The external circumstance is identical. The internal response is entirely different. This is why Stoicism focuses so intensely on mastery of perception. Events do not automatically create suffering. Our judgments about events create suffering. A Misunderstanding becomes painful when we insist on being understood. An insult becomes devastating. When we insist on being admired, a rejection becomes unbearable. When we insist on being accepted, the Stoic gradually loosens these demands. He stops requiring reality to satisfy his preferences. As a result, reality loses much of its power over him. There is a story about a man who approached Epictetus and asked how he could avoid being insulted by others. The deeper wisdom behind Stoicism was never to eliminate insults from the world. That would be impossible. The goal was to eliminate their authority over your inner state. This is an important distinction. You cannot control whether people criticize you. You can control whether criticism controls you. You cannot control whether people misunderstand you. You can control whether misunderstanding dictates your behavior. You cannot control whether others approve. You can control whether approval becomes your addiction. The battle has always been internal. Unfortunately, modern culture often encourages the opposite approach. Every opinion is broadcast instantly. Every disagreement becomes public. Every criticism demands a response. Every misunderstanding invites another explanation. People become trapped in endless cycles of reaction. They are constantly defending, clarifying, justifying, and persuading. The result is exhaustion, not because life is inherently exhausting, but because they are fighting battles that never needed to be fought. Imagine how much energy is wasted every year trying to convince strangers. Imagine how many dreams remain unfinished because attention was diverted toward arguments. Imagine how many opportunities disappear because fear of judgment prevented action. The Stoics would view this as a profound misuse of life. Time is limited. Energy is limited. Attention is limited. Why spend these precious resources attempting to control what can never be controlled? A person who understands this becomes extraordinarily effective. His focus sharpens. His priorities simplify. His emotional stability increases. He no longer needs every conversation to end with agreement. He no longer needs every relationship to contain complete understanding. He no longer needs every observer to approve of his choices. This frees enormous amounts of mental energy. That energy can now be invested where it belongs. In learning. In building. In creating. In improving. In serving. In living. This is where radical self-discipline enters the picture. Most people think discipline is merely forcing yourself to work harder. The Stoics understood a deeper form of discipline. The discipline to remain silent when ego demands explanation. The discipline to continue when emotions demand retreat. The discipline to stay focused when distractions demand attention. The discipline to trust your principles when uncertainty demands reassurance. This type of discipline is rare because it is invisible. Nobody applauds it. Nobody celebrates it. Nobody sees the internal battles being won. Yet these victories often determine the quality of an entire life. The strongest people are not necessarily those who dominate others. Often they are those who dominate themselves. They resist the impulse to react. They resist the impulse to seek validation. They resist the impulse to explain every decision. They become masters of their own minds. And this mastery creates a remarkable presence. You may have encountered people like this before. They enter a room without demanding attention. They speak without desperation. They act without excessive self-promotion. Their confidence feels different because it is not built upon performance. It is built upon certainty. Not certainty that they are always right, but certainty that their worth does not depend on agreement. Such individuals possess something the Stoics valued above almost everything else. Inner freedom. No external achievement can replace it. No amount of wealth can purchase it. No amount of status can guarantee it. Inner freedom emerges only when you stop surrendering authority over your peace to other people. This is why silence can become such a powerful Practice. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not fear. Silence is not passivity. Sometimes, silence is evidence that a person has finally stopped negotiating with the world about who he is. He no longer needs a committee to approve his identity. He no longer seeks permission to pursue his purpose. He no longer explains every step because he understands that explanation is not the same as progress. His life becomes his statement. His actions become his argument. His character becomes his proof. And in time, something interesting happens. Many of the people who once doubted him began paying attention, not because he convinced them, not because he defeated them in debate, not because he provided the perfect explanation, but because results possess a language that words can never match. The disciplined person eventually speaks through outcomes. The focused person eventually speaks through achievement. The resilient person eventually speaks through endurance. The virtuous person eventually speaks through character. And these forms of communication are infinitely more powerful than endless justification. The Stoics knew that truth does not become stronger because it is repeated 1,000 times. Truth becomes visible through consistent action. This is why the wisest individuals throughout history often appeared calm in the face of criticism. They were not indifferent because they lacked feelings. They were indifferent because they understood priorities. They knew that life is too short to spend it defending every decision to every observer. They knew that energy invested in proving yourself is energy unavailable for improving yourself. Most importantly, they knew that genuine confidence is born the moment you stop asking the world for permission to become who you were meant to be. So the next time someone misunderstands your intentions, pause before explaining. The next time someone questions your path, pause before defending. The next time criticism appears, pause before reacting. Ask yourself whether your response is serving wisdom or merely serving ego. Ask yourself whether you are protecting truth or protecting approval. Ask yourself whether this explanation is necessary or simply comforting. Then remember the lesson that Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and the great Stoics spent their lives teaching. Your character is your responsibility. Your choices are your responsibility. Your actions are your responsibility. Everything else belongs to fate. Live honorably. Work quietly. Improve relentlessly. Accept criticism without becoming enslaved by it. Accept misunderstanding without becoming wounded by it. Accept uncertainty without becoming paralyzed by it. And when the world demands an explanation for the life you have chosen, offer the most powerful response possible. Not another argument. Not another justification. Not another defense. Simply continue walking your path with discipline, dignity, and unwavering purpose. Because in the end, the strongest explanation is not what you say. It is what you become.